FlossTube, and welcome back to Fairy Tales and French Knots. I'm Erin, and this is my channel about cross-stitch, where I talk long enough to make my family wonder what I'm up to, but short enough that you can watch it on your lunch break. So today is Saturday, November 30th, and this is episode 30. I've done 30 episodes of this. I hope you're all still interested, and if you're just finding me, I hope you remain interested. So thanks for stopping by, and I hope all my US viewers had a happy Thanksgiving. I hope that none of you have gotten lost in Black Friday shopping or Small Business Saturday or whatever the next day we're supposed to spend money is. I've not left my house since, well, I just took my daughter to a Friendsgiving celebration at one of her friends' houses. But other than that, I have not left my house since Wednesday, and I'm completely okay with that. I've got some stitching done. I've got a finished finish, FFO, to show you. Some progress on some projects and a little bit of stash. So let's start with the whips, shall we? First of all, I started back at the beginning of November, Cosford Rise Stitchery's Father Christmas's Village sampler. It's absolutely beautiful. I absolutely love the colors. I can absolutely say absolutely a few more times. This is charted for, I believe it was for wheat linen, and it's charted in Fancy Flosses. I converted the flosses to Vicki Clayton hand-dyed fiber silks, and I'm stitching on 40 count sheep straw. So here is my Christmas village. And there are a couple colors that I was concerned about showing up. One of them is this one over here. It's called Jimson and Clover. The color called for is olive, and it didn't want to show up real well on the sheep straw linen. But I think once it's all done, it will. It's got just enough contrast to show. The other one is the white, which is, I believe it's Polar Melt. I think it was Picket Fence was the called for. So that's over here in this house right here, and also the fence down here, the little baubles and the decorative row here, and of course it's throughout the rest of the sampler too. But I also think that that shows up better in person than it does on camera. And I posted this on my Instagram feed a couple days ago, maybe more than a couple days ago. But again, I think it looks better in real life than it photographs. So again, there's my progress. As you can see, I got to both sides, which was my goal, to make sure I had the right width of fabric here, which I definitely do. So yeah, that will, get pulled out off and on, I'm sure, for the next year or so. We'll probably end up in my whip go board for 2025. I definitely won't have it finished by Christmas. Oh, I will say, the other reason I started working so far across is I wanted to get to this little guy. Over here is a tea shop, and this is like a Christmas pudding. And we've been watching the newest season of the Great British Baking Show. So I was like feeling one with the bakers while I was stitching this little Christmas pudding. So yeah, very cool. So that's Christmas Village. The other thing I've been working on in the evenings, because it's on 28 count, so if I'm getting tired, I can focus on it better, is We Are Fine from Mama X Cross Stitch. They're not finished. I really thought I could get them finished by, if not Halloween, then by Thanksgiving. Not finished. They're not happy about that. But maybe they're not happy because I made their children into a pumpkin cheesecake. I don't know. But yes, so we've got, they are actually mostly done. I need to finish her dress. But then there's tons of these leaves that come off this border. And they use like 3 or 4 shades of orange. So it's not a, real quick stitch when it comes to changing flosses and ending threads and everything. And yes, I probably could find an overdye and use that, and looking back, maybe I should have. But at this point, I'm far enough into it that I just gotta buckle down and do it. So we are fine. I've also put in some stitches on Redbird by the Courtney Collection. And here's that. This I converted from, I think it's in NPI Silks. I converted it to Victorian Motto Sampler Shop cottons that I had in my stash. And that feels like it could be a finish, but there's a whole lot of that green and brown and green, brown, green, more brown. So I like it because I don't have to change flosses a lot, but I get tired of working in the same colors. So this is on a 40 count, so it's pretty small. And I think this is pretty close over here to the side. This is the left-hand side. I don't think the right goes too much beyond these leaves over here. So that's pretty much the width. There's a little bit more length under that back hoof there. Do deer have hooves? I don't know. But anyway, so there's that one. And finally, today, actually, I started working on the Owl Forest piece. I don't know if I showed that here before. This was left at StitchCon as a pattern and leftover flosses. And I thought if I did it on 40 count, I might have enough flosses to finish it. I'm not sure if that's going to work out. So if anyone has any extra Owl Forest embroidery flosses for the Atlantis set, particularly the octopus square, let me know, because I think I might end up needing some, especially the dark blue that the house is done in. But here is, well, here's the pattern, or what it will look like when it's done. And I believe this actually is a 3-part piece that they sold as a kit. Again, this is the leftover piece of the pattern, and I have the pattern itself, obviously, that I picked up on the StitchCon table. And here's my progress on it so far. Whoever left that on the table with the flosses did some fussy cutting of the floss. And I noticed that, first of all, in that dark color that the house is stitched in, which first of all looks nothing like their picture. The picture looks like a dark teal and a light teal, and as I'm stitching it, it's more of a aquamarine almost. There's very little teal in that at all. And this piece up here in the roof was the only piece that had any really dark blue in it. So I'm pretty sure whoever stitched this first had fussy cut their floss and used the darks intentionally, and then left the lighter bits on the card and put that in the bag. But it's fine. It will be unique. They also fussy cut the blue ice that is used. I don't know if I can show it here or not, but it's what fills in around the house. And I found a bunch of chunks of it again on the bobbin that were just white. So they cut out all the light blue and used and left just the white. So I'm getting creative. Since it is all overdyed flosses and they're all unique colors, I kind of figure if I run out of one and I swap in, as long as I can do it kind of subtly and strategically, it won't matter too much. That's why I've been really tempted to start working away from the house, but if I finish the house with what I have and there's not enough to do, let's see, I think this little structure over here is done in that same blue. But if I don't have that blue and I sub in something kind of close but not exact, it won't show. It won't seem like a big deal. So yeah, been working on that. Like I said, just today, it felt like something good to work on. And part of why I've been stitching today, and maybe part of why I decided I needed to get something out different to work on, is little tangent here. Today, the flower girl from my wedding is getting married. Now, obviously, she's no longer flower girl aged. And she's getting married in Erie, Pennsylvania. So if you are from northwestern PA or northeastern Ohio, over there by, between Erie and Cleveland, like Ashtabula, that area, yeah, you're probably watching FlossTube because you can't get out of your house since they've got, last I looked, 3 feet of snow since yesterday. Yeah. So we didn't make it to that wedding, and I, as of right now, am not sure what's going on with the wedding. They were posting on Facebook looking for people to help plow out their reception site parking lot. But then I also saw that they've called in the National Guard and put the city under a state of emergency. So I'm not sure if weddings are going to be a priority at this point. Don't know. So anyway, yeah, I think that kind of stirred up my need to, start something that I hadn't worked on in a while, just to, I don't know why that is. Some little switch in my brain. I did not stitch a piece for her wedding gift, and maybe I should do a giant snowflake and send it to her. Yeah, but anyway, that's my progress on things, and a little explanation for why I went pawing through my stash, maybe. But then I added to my stash. Not a lot. I only have one pattern to show off today. No, I take that back. I have two. First, I picked up on one of the stash groups a Foxwood Crossing kit called the Needle Pin In. And it's got this cute little pin cushion. It says it was stitched with Karen Wildflowers to get that variegation, but I know I've got a ton of variegated things I could swap in. And it was definitely a deal because the person selling the pattern also had the little bed, which is just so cute. And I've actually I did back in the 90s, early 2000s. I think it was, I can't remember the brand now, but they came in a little brown paper sack, and it was Ada, and it came with a piece of twine and little tiny clothespins, and they were little quilt patterns. So you could stitch the little tiny quilt pattern and then hang it over the little line and be done with it. Well, I had one of those, and I also used to build doll houses. So I had a doll bed, which was actually a little bit bigger than this. And I extended the pattern to, it was an Irish chain design, and I extended that and made it long enough to be a, dollhouse sized twin bed covering. And then I finished it into a little bed covering, like a quilt. And it came out really cute. So when I saw this and thought, oh, isn't that cute for a little pin cushion? And it looks like it's got both the cushion piece, and then it's got like a little dust ruffle that you stitch to go underneath the cushion. So yes, it says 2 pieces of fabric will be required for the pin cushion and the blanket. So there's like a little blanket underneath that. But that'll be something fun to finish and put up here with all my finished things. The other pattern that I picked up is one that I've actually had on my watch list on both eBay and Etsy forever. I've I think I had it in my wish list at 123 Stitch, but I just was like, I don't need to buy it. Somebody had it in the stash unload groups for a fraction of the cost it would have been in the stores. And now I have Amy Brukin's The Early Bird. And so in one of my flat fold videos from earlier this year, I did a flat fold finish of Bent Creek's Early Bird Gets the Worm. I want to put this next to it because this is more in line with how I feel about life, which is that the early bird can have the worm because worms are gross and mornings are stupid. So, yeah, I had to get that one. It just seemed so perfect to go with my other piece. And finally, I've got some finishing done. And this is a piece that I finished, I think I finished it in 2020 because I think it was one of my, COVID fight my way through this while everything is a mess kind of projects. And it is Bright Needles, A Winter's Night, which was one of the Kreinik Remember the Ladies floss packs. If you ever see the pattern, it's really cute. I love what it says. It says, air crisp as apples, snowflakes for stars, a winter's night. And then it's got this funky little village looking scene on it. So here's my piece. And why this drove me nuts was it's charted for like a brown linen or some sort of natural color. And when your piece is called A Winter's Night, you can't stitch that on tan. That's just not right. So I think I had a whole lot of emails with the wonderful people at Hobby House over different colors that we could use for this. And I'm honestly not certain which one we ended up with because they sent me 2 or 3. And I don't see my project book close enough nearby that I can consult it. But whatever I ended up with was, I'm pretty sure it's something from Fox and Rabbit. But yeah, I had to find the right color that didn't wipe out any of the more muted colors and showed off the lights. So yeah, this is what I did. And this pattern, or this frame, was one that I picked up at Celebration of Needlework from Old Colonial, one of the ones that Pam's husband, I want to say Bob, used to make. And it was just an impulsive, grabbed out of the extra frame bin thing, because I do that. And I started trying to organize all the frames I have. And when I came across this one, I thought, I bet you I have something that it will fit in, or will fit in it. So I pulled down my bin of finished pieces and started, just going through stuff. And this is what I came up with. And I think it's perfect. It sets off the lights, looks nice and rustic. And the other thing I treated myself to is a point driver. So I can now put these little jobbers into anything I frame. And that made me very happy because I know I have more frames that don't have those, especially since I've learned how to take apart frames and rebuild them, or put them back together as different sizes. A lot of times they lose those little flexible points that hold the backs in. So now I can do that, and I can also take it apart if I ever need to. There's absolutely no glue. I did this with, it's pinned and laced on the back, and yeah, everything is 100% take apartable. So yeah, that made me happy. And then my final bit of acquisition, and the last thing I'll talk about today, I went antiquing. Dangerous things. Actually, I went thrifting and antiquing. And when I went thrifting for 99 cents, I found this. And I kept looking at this wreath here and thinking about the Jeanette Douglas chubbies. And I think I have the chubby bunny. I think the chubby bunny would look perfect in here because it's spring flowers, spring colors, and this, from the looks of the price tag remnants on the back, this came from probably Dollar General or Family Dollar. Uh, but I got it at the thrift store for 49 cents, and I will someday finish something round and use it to do that. I've also found these at Michael's several years ago. They had a bunch of Christmas stores, and I finished one of those with a Christmas piece on the bottom part. So look for doors. They're kind of interesting. And then, because I was watching Helen D and her spool finishes, was in our antique store, and I found this. I love that it's already been, I think it was painted. I don't think it started out this green color, but someone antiqued it. Perfect for a little Santa or snowman or something like that. And then, hang on. There was also a shorter one that was not finished the same way, but perfect. Right? So I have ideas. Maybe. We'll see. Yeah. Don't know what will happen with that. But I have those, I think $20 total for the two spools. Again, they came from the antique store, not the thrift store, so there's a different price point there. So that's what I've been up to. There's one other thing I'm doing, and I'm probably insane. But I went to the Schoolgirls of Western New York sampler retreat in Leroy. And I talked about that a couple episodes ago. While I was there, I made a new friend who said, wouldn't it be nice if there was something to do, in the bleakest part of the winter when there's nothing to do and you just want to get out of your house and be around crafters? And words fell out of my face. And I was reminded that there used to be a retreat in my little hometown. And it has, the shop that organized it, they've retired, so the retreat is no more. But that fell out of my face. I said, oh, there used to be a retreat in my town. And she goes, oh, that'd be a lovely place to go. And we could do a wine tasting because I live near the Finger Lakes. I don't think wine tastings in the winter are, I don't know, do they have them? I don't drink wine. But anyway, I jumped on that and I started talking to Sharon Verbos from the Purple Thread. And as she said, she's offered to mentor me in this little project. Right now, my biggest problem is that I can't get the location where there's actually a workshop space that is attached to an independent bookstore that sells coffee and sandwiches. That would be perfect. It has great lighting. It has a nice bathroom attached. It's got a little kitchenette. It's got a little window area where you could set up like a little brag table or, a trunk show if you were the designer. So there's lots of options. And I've reached out to them, sent them an email, and they didn't respond. Sent them another email, and I finally got a response about 2 or 3 days before Thanksgiving. So I haven't followed up again thinking, I don't want to step on family time. But at the same time, if we were to do this retreat at the end of February, which is what people have indicated they're interested in, I need to get this moving. The other thing I found out is so my town is very small. And we don't have like any big chain hotels with convention centers and, big, huge spaces. And in some ways that's, a little bit frustrating, but it could also be a good thing here because I don't want to have, a StitchCon level thing happening with hundreds of people. I'd be happy with 10 if I can get 10 people to show up and do a little project, stitch for the day, have some sandwiches and chat and be great. But there's no hotels, and my town is small, and I don't know how many local stitchers there are. So I reached out to some local bed and breakfasts because we do have those. And there's one in town called the Belleville Lockwood Inn. And if you don't know, if you're interested in history, look up Belleville Lockwood. She was the first woman to argue a case before the U.S. Supreme Court. So anyway, at the Belleville Lockwood Inn, they've offered a discount on the rooms if we can purchase all of them. However, all of them is 5. So it isn't like I need even 20 people, I need 5. And I'm thinking that the designer, Sharon, would be one of them, so I need 4. And it's a great deal, but I still can't get the woman who owns the workshop space to follow up with me. So I've got all these moving parts kind of moving, and I can't get them to lock together the way they need to. If anyone has any suggestions on how to kickstart people into doing things, let me know. Because I actually like to plan this kind of stuff. I have ideas already. Sharon has come up with a small project idea. It wouldn't be you need to pay attention for class and learn a whole lot, but it would be a fun little memento of the day or the weekend. And we were calling it Belva's Basket because we could connect it to the inn and the rooms and everything else. But I'm struggling with just the timing and coordinating all the parts. So I don't know if this will happen. If you are someone who might be interested in journeying to upstate New York, not in the snow belt, far away from Erie and all those places, but you might have to get around those places to get here. So anyway, but if you are someone who might be interested in that, let me know and leave a comment, or if you know me on various other platforms, message me there, because I really want to make this work and I'm trying to figure out how to do it. And I also just want to stitch and not plan things all the time. So it's like if I could get it all set up and then just forget about it for a month or so, that'd be great. I don't know. Anyway, so that's what I've been up to, and maybe I'll be back later, not later this month, but I will check in at least once more before Christmas. Stay safe, keep stitching, and may all of your leftovers be tasty. Bye.